Now, the global travel and tourism event World Travel Market is in London, and it opened on November 7th to welcome the biggest names in the industry from every travel sector to connect and network with each other and find new ways to grow and develop their business. After a 3-year absence, Tourism Trinidad Limited is participating at the world's largest travel trade show and in collaboration with the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited. And so joining us all the way from the UK to give us an update on Team TNT's showing at the event is Chief Executive Officer of TTL, Ms. Carla Cupid. Ms. Cupid, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Good morning, Kimberly, and thank you for having me.
Yes. Now, before we get into exactly the kind of things we've been seeing on the ground, tell us the purpose for the trip this year.
Well, this year, as you said before, we've been absent from World Travel Market and similar types of exhibitions for the past 3 years. So coming out here is a way to connect with those persons who can help us share the culture, share the story of Trinidad, and to really tell the world that we are open for business and we are welcoming visitors back again. It is really important for us to be here and to be represented and to be present on the global travel landscape because we need to, meet with key partners who will help us increase visitor arrivals, increase visitor expenditure, and just really connect with those travel partners who can, help us to build our tourism industry.
Yeah, and I know that there was a substantial contingent that went across, especially with Tobago as well. Can you share some of the people
Yes.
who are over there in London right now?
Right. So, as you said before, Trinidad and Tobago, so Tourism Trinidad Limited and Tobago Tourism Agency, we collaborated this year. And on the Tourism Trinidad Limited side of things, we have stakeholders from the hotel sector. So you have the Bricks by Marriott, the general manager is here. We have a representative from Hadco Experiences, and they are overseeing the upgrades to the Asa Wright Nature Center. We have Banwari Experience, that is a tour operator, very experienced tour operator, and also Island Experiences. We also have Caribbean Airlines here with us. And we also have, well, of course, the contingent from Tourism Trinidad Limited and Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts as well.
Nice. Now tell us some of the people that you were expecting to meet and how have the conversations on the ground been happening over time?
We expected to meet persons from the airline industry, persons who are online travel agents, tour operators, media, because they are providing avenues for us to, one, sell the destination and also to tell our story. So in terms of meetings, we would have booked before because once you register, of course, you have access to the portal. It's very, very well organized. But of course, you have impromptu meetings, and sometimes you get some gems out of those.
Yeah.
But in terms of the meetings that we had booked before, we have KLM Royal Dutch Airlines. We would have met with them. We would have met with representatives of Virgin for advertising purposes and so on. We would have also met with Travel Weekly. We met with tour operators like Geodesy. So it's a number of stakeholders, sorry, a number of partners that we met with, that we arranged meetings with, who would, have that connection with tour operators, travel agents, and to help us market a brand or destination Trinidad, whether it's on in-flight, whether it's with the various tour operators in the various source markets and key source markets like Amsterdam, North America, and across Europe, of course.
Yeah. No, I saw that TTL announced the extension of KLM service to Port of Spain into 2023 and a new direct service by British Airways 3 times a week. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? It seems as if it's good. We are getting more, flights coming into the country, more revenue as expected.
Yes, and that is particularly heartening. We're happy about that because we are really trying to grow our European market. So what people don't understand sometimes is that Trinidad has a lot of what, for example, the Dutch visitor is looking for. They want an immersive cultural experience. They want to experience what being a Trini feels like, the food we eat, the festivals that we engage in. Those are things that are attractive to these markets. And so when KLM started their service in October of 2021, they renewed it until October 2022, and now they've extended it into March 2023. The flight is doing extremely well because it is coming out of the Amsterdam Schiphol hub, which is the third busiest airport in Europe. So therefore, it's a feeder for a lot of other markets across Europe into Schiphol and then into Trinidad. In addition, when we peruse the data coming out of that flight, we also see persons who are coming in from India, Delhi in particular. So sometimes we see these developments and we just think about the point-to-point service, but it acts as an access way for persons to come in to Trinidad, from many different markets. And in terms of the BA service, we of course share that service currently with St. Lucia. From March 26th, 2023, next year, they are going to be doing a direct flight from Gatwick, London Gatwick, into Trinidad. And what that means is, visitors, tourists always prefer to access their destinations with a direct flight. So that has a lot of opportunities for us in terms of our marketing, so we can do more direct marketing and really, bring more visitors into Gatwick, because that is another hub that we have available to us as well.
Yeah. Now, I know that this is the last day of the market because it started on Monday, ending today. Can you tell us what some of the expectations or some of the things you're going to be doing for the final day of the travel market?
But for the final day, it's more meetings again. I mean, for the past 2 days, speaking, I'm surprised that my voice is not hoarse because we have spoken and had, I would say, close to about 40 meetings. Some persons will schedule us during the day, and as I said before, impromptu meetings come in. Today, in particular, we are looking at having meetings with persons who do sporting events, because that is one of the areas, one of the niches that we are looking actively to develop in conjunction with, of course, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Arts. We would have approved a sport tourism policy. Then we're going to be doing a sport tourism master plan. And so we're looking for more events, to host more events. Of course, we are hosting the Commonwealth Youth Games next year. We're hosting the Pan Am Games in 2024. So it is as if all of the stars are aligning in that regard, because we have the facilities, we have the infrastructure to hold large-scale sporting events. So we want to bring more of these types of events to Destination Trinidad. And so it's very encouraging for us. We look forward to those meetings that we have today. And we hope that, just like we have been having some really positive meetings over the past 2 days, we hope that today will bear much fruit.
Yeah. Now, I know that the announcement was made in terms of BA and KLM, but are there any more confirmations on partnerships that you can bring back to us in TNT? Anybody has signed on definitely for partnering with us even before the year ends or even into next year?
Well, we have really developed a good relationship with National Geographic. We are Trinidad has a really good story to tell, and I think the powers that be, the world is now waking up to that, and National Geographic in particular is really taking notice of what Trinidad has to offer. We would have been one of those 35 countries recognized for their Best of the World for 2023 destinations, in particular our turtle watching activities. So, that is something that we're looking forward to. They would have approached us again just yesterday to be part of their Caribbean edition. They're bringing out a special Caribbean edition of one of their publications next year. And that is something more than likely we will be part of, because they are very much intrigued with what Destination Trinidad has to offer. In terms of stakeholders, I would have mentioned Patco Experiences. They are here as well. And the reason why that is very important is because they represent Azorite Nature Center. And the Azorite Nature Center is important for the UK market and the European market because they are very much into bird watching and nature-based tourism and ecotourism.
Yeah.
And they would have announced that they will be opening on April 1st, 2023, but they are taking bookings and inquiries even now and even as we speak. So that is some very encouraging news, and it's important for both islands because what people would normally do is, even if they're coming to Tobago to probably visit the Mainridge Forest or do their own bird watching activities, they also add Azorite onto it as an added value because it's a short flight over and they just stay at the Eco Lodge probably for 2 or 3 nights, get their bird watching in, and then go back to Tobago and then leave.
And enjoy it again, yeah. Now, Ms. Cupid, before you
Exactly.
go, I know that we have these contingents that are traveling all over the world, showing people what TNT is made of. But has the organization targeted any travel reps, for example, where we can use the travel reps to also sell TNT on a more global scale?
Yes, so we are looking at that as a possible way to make ourselves more efficient and more effective, because it is not every show that you want to come out to. We have scarce resources, we know that, but shows like World Travel Market and then there is ITB in Berlin. These are the big shows that people attend. So yes, to answer your question, we are looking at representation in these markets, and also something that we really have not looked at before in great detail would be ambassadors. And when I say ambassadors, I mean people from the diaspora, people who are living outside of Trinidad. They're born in Trinidad, they live in other countries. They are really homesick. They really wanted to share what Trinidad and Tobago, what we have to offer. And they are ready to tell the story of home to persons who they live with, who they work with, who they interact with. We would have released some videos by the culinary blogger Mark Weens. He released the videos. He was here for 9 days in September. And when you look at him experiencing the cuisine of Trinidad and you look at the comments, you see people are homesick, and then people say, I feel so proud.
Yeah.
I feel so proud that Trinidad and Tobago is being represented in this way. I feel so proud that, I miss a bacon shack. I miss doubles. And so that there is a groundswell of pride that we have not tapped into. And that is something that we want to look at very closely, to use these avenues to market destination Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. And Ms. Cupid, final thoughts before we allow you to go out and continue those conversations.
Final thoughts. I will answer as CEO/citizen Carla Cupid. We really have to love our country. We have a lot to offer persons who come into our country in spite of. Trinidad is such a beautiful island. It is an underrated island. And I guess that's part of my job coming out here, to let people know what we have to offer, and to go back and to take advantage of the opportunities that we find out here, to really bring people into our space, to let people experience what we experience. Because we have a lot of domestic tourism activity in Trinidad. People pick up themselves on the weekends with their families. They go to Paramin, they go to Lebre Pitchie, they go to all of these places. But we have to love where we live.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is my parting thought for today.
Nice. Well, Ms. Cupid, thank you so much for joining us on the Now Morning Show. All the best with the final day of the travel market, and we hope to check in again to see, the fruits of those conversations and connections. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, for having me, and good morning to your audience.
And that was the Chief Executive Officer of TTL, Ms. Carla Cupid, just sharing what we've been working on while the contingent has been in UK for that World Travel Market, which began on Monday and ends today. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.